Metropolitan Kornely consecrated a new house for Agafia Lykova. For the hermit Agafia Lykova, who lives in the Siberian taiga on the territory of the Kakhovsky Reserve, a new house was built. For housewarming, the desert prayer book called The Spiritual Fathers and Vladika Cornelius. On March 10, 2021, the wooden house of the hermit was consecrated by the primate of the Russian Orthodox Old Rite Church, Metropolitan of Moscow and All Russia Cornelius. Upon arrival at the place of residence of Agafia Karpovna, Vladika served a prayer service to the Mother of God icon, free-handed, and performed the rite of consecration of the new temple. The construction of the hut, as well as the trip of the priesthood to Agafia Karpovna, was organized by the Russian entrepreneur and philanthropist Oleg Deripaska. Since logging is prohibited in the reserve, building materials for the house were brought along the river. First, the wooden house was assembled in a bokken, then the blockhouse was dismantled for delivery to a hard-to-reach area, to the capture of the Lykovs. The building material was lifted to the upper reaches of the river on a snowmobile. In total, it took about 18 flights, because at one time it is possible to transport only 1.5 tons. The cedar house is installed above the steep slope of the Aranat River at its confluence with the Bolshoye Bokken River. The new dwelling is heated with a metal stove, which they plan to replace with a brick Russian one in warm weather. Metropolitan Kornely congratulated Agafia Karpovna on the consecration of the temple, wished the strength of strength and God's help in his labors. For the new home, Vladika presented a newly painted icon of the Holy Trinity and a traveling icon of the monks of Sima and Savati, the wonderworkers of Solovets. In turn, Agafia Lykova thanked the benefactor for the help provided and all those who worked in construction. Such a beauty has been built, God grant everyone good health, especially spiritual salvation. On this trip, together with Metropolitan Kornely, priest Vladimir Gospodaria Orenburg arrived at St. Lykov. Priest Igor Milnikov, Novokuznetsk, and Protodeacon Viktor Savlyev, Moscow. The clergy invited by the Taiga hermit were accompanied by the director of the Kakhovsky Reserve, Viktor Nepomniachtchi, and Andrei Gorbatyuk, employee of the Russian Technological University Myria. This is the second visit of Agafia Lykova as the primate of the church. Thus, Metropolitan Kornely made his first visit to the Lykovs on April 9, 2014. This year 2021 marks the 10th anniversary of the accession of Agafia Karpovna to Russian Orthodox Old Believers Church. There is a considerable distance from the place of Lykova's monastery to the nearest Old Believer parishes. So, to the city of Gorno-Altaysk and the village of Krasnogorsk -180 kilometers in a straight line. And about 270 kilometers, to the city of Novokuznetsk. Earlier, the director of the reserve reported that Lykova sent a letter to the businessman Oleg Deripaska with a request to help build a new house. The old hut was in poor condition. In turn, the businessman's representative stated that Deripaska agreed to help the hermit. In December, construction began on a new hermitage hut. Agafia Lykova is the only surviving representative of the Old Believer family, found by geologists in 1978 in the Western Sion Mountains. She lives in the taiga alone, from time to time volunteers stay with her. The Lykov family lived in isolation since 1937, the hermits tried to protect themselves from the influence of the external environment, especially with regard to faith. At the time of discovery of taiga inhabitants by geologists, there were 5. The head of the family Karp Lykov, sons Savin and Dmitry, daughters Natalia and Agafia. In 1981, 3 of the children died, and in 1988, the Lykovs' father, the Zamka, became a part of the Kakhovsky Reserve in May 2001. Recall that you can read the history of the appearance of the Lykov family in the upper reaches of the Abokan in recently published book by Sergei Usik, Exodus, The History of the Lykov Family, the presentation of which took place in a number of cities in western Siberia. You can buy the book by contacting the author directly and agreeing on the shipment. A link to Sergei Usik's Facebook page can be found in the description of this video. This is the only book about a family of old believers that has not been censored in any way. In it you will read the whole truth. I also ask you to subscribe to the channel, press the bell for notifications. Rate this video and chat in the comments about the family of famous old believers. I also ask you to go to other videos about Agafia Lykova, which you now see in the end screensavers. Thank you all for watching.